mounts, and neither one's no good. All right, what's going on, people? I got 0 people in the room. That's fixing to change. But for right now, this is going to be Operation Hot Biscuit. I'm going to put it up on that playlist and share it. This one here, you should share with everybody. I'm going to be putting out a pretty good bit of intel. And to start with intel, like this title suggests, there's going to be a lot of different things I'm going to talk about in this little video. But the first thing, and the reason I'm doing this right now, and I'll show video on it, is they tested a detox or cure or whatever you want to call it, and they've been doing this for a year, and they got really good results in trying to get rid of, if you took the jab, trying to get rid of the spike proteins, RNA, mRNA, DNA that they put inside you to keep you from dying. And also they say sometimes they might need to give blood clot medicine. I'm gonna say this much: don't get Coumadin. That stuff will kill you and make you bleed out. I've known several people. I've talked to all kinds of different patients that I've talked to about, you know, and people that their grandparents was in the hospital, all kinds of different people about that Coumadin. Stay away from Coumadin. That blood thinner will kill you. But the detox is, I wrote it down, they're calling it, if you look up, you can look up the information on it online, or I'm actually going to show where it's at on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it now, and also put a link up in the comments below when I'm done with this live, when I get a chance. Might be after I get out of New Jersey, because if you can't blame me, I'm trying to get out of New Jersey, right, before the traffic. But I had to stop and do this live because this came up. So it's called a base, let me turn this radio down so I don't feel like I'm yelling at you, a base spike detoxification. And it's a 1-year testing that they've already done in order to get the bad things out of your body if you took the jab, okay, that might kill you, okay? All right, so the first thing he mentions is nattokinase, nattokinase, 2,000 units twice a day. He talked fast, so I wrote these down. So that's nattokinase, 2,000 units twice a day. All right, the next thing that it was a trifecta. It was a cocktail of 3 different natural chemicals. They said nothing in Big Pharma would help, nothing. These 3 things are natural. So that's nattokinase, 2,000 units twice a day. The second, number 2, is bromelain, and that is 500 milligrams a day, okay, that they tested on people. And the third is curcumin, and that's from turmeric, and we're talking about 500 milligrams twice a day. And then if you need blood thinners, if there's blood clotting, that's when they might use blood thinners also. But those 3 things, that's a 3-month detox, and that's what it takes, is 3 months to get that crap out of your system. So I'll show the video real quick on that, and we'll talk about some other things. But this is the video that I saw, that I'm sharing, that we're talking about right now. Okay. It's hard to do.
For COVID-19 vaccine injuries and long COVID syndrome, there's a paper by Diexer and colleagues showing that 70% of everybody suffering with long COVID is due to the vaccine. They've taken multiple vaccines. The vaccine's a bigger factor than having COVID. So most of this is being whitewashed as long COVID. The Biden administration and HHS has written a research plan. They spent $1 billion on long COVID. In that research plan, they never consider whether the vaccine is the cause of the problem. They assume it's COVID. In fact, it's all whitewashed as COVID. That $1 billion has generated 0 new drugs, 0 protocols or strategies, 0 new in vitro diagnostics. It's the biggest waste of $1 billion scientific dollars I've ever seen in my life. Nothing's been generated out of it. So myself and others have taken matters into our own hands, and we've published the first peer-reviewed journal on detoxification of the spike protein.
Of the spike
protein from the human body, based on a theoretical basis and some limited human studies. It's called Base Spike Detoxification. It was published in the Journal of the American Physician and Surgeon. It's also
limited human
on the
studies
European
for
Commission
1 year.
server. And it proposes, it's a proposal that people who have symptoms after multiple rounds of COVID or the vaccine detoxify, that is, help the body break down the spike protein for removal using 3 natural substances. First one is nattokinase, 2,000 units twice a day as a low dose, can be increased. Bromelain, 500 milligrams a day. And then curcumin, which is a derivative of turmeric, 500 milligrams twice a day. And this is based on the best available literature. I've tried every prescription drug that exists, and there is no cure for this in the prescription pharmacopoeia. But I do believe that this triple combination, after direct observation in my practice for over a year,
this is a big deal, people. Share this with everyone.
Practice experience on this, and people get better. Now, it takes 3 to 12 months for people to slowly get better. And we do add additional drugs depending on what the problem is, particularly blood thinners. But as a proposal, I want the committee in the state of Arizona to hear that doctors are trying to do things to help patients, and without any funding or recognition by the federal government, just like with the treatment of COVID, we will have to pave the way in helping people resolve.
All right, so that's the first thing. That's the answer. That is the solution to the problem. The second thing I want to show was
are Costco and Whole Foods selling fake fruits? I've been hearing about this, but check out what's happening to these people.
When she opens it, and she
turning into rubber.
It's very tough and doesn't really break.
Let me tell you, people, this ain't even the worst of it. The worst of it is this, okay? They put it in blueberries. Evidently, it's the effect of maybe that appeal chemical, because this is new and it's about the same time that stuff came out. Check this out. They got blueberries on here that turn into straight, solid silicone as if it was a toy. And it comes with kids' snacks. And this one woman, she had one stuck in her sinkerator. It's a machine with blades that's in the sink pipe to actually cut up food if it goes down into there. It's a disposal. So it got stuck on this one blueberry, and there was nothing wrong with the blueberry. So she took it out. Her husband cut it in half with a knife, and the thing was like it was solid silicone. And she's like, I'm feeding this to my kid, so I want you to watch that one, really, but it's coming up.
Oh, it's like it's glue.
It's not even breaking, like, at all. And I know you guys can't feel the texture, Avi, right, because it's a video, but, like, it literally feels fake. It knows that people are posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon.
Yeah, forget about the watermelon,
so
man. I mean, don't eat it.
But there's a clinking, and it sounds like something's stuck. So I go in the drain, and there's a blueberry that's not breaking apart. It's not doing anything.
Put a link
it's
up
what's
to this.
making the noise. And I pick it up, and snack berry.
Now I want to talk about that blueberry thing for a second.
What's happening now?
And this is going to be Alex Jones. Now I'm going to talk about that for a second now. Okay. Now check this out. We're going to talk about that. Okay. All right. Before this whole appeal mess started, I started hauling loads of different odd foods for to be freezing. I thought it was odd. And we're putting it inside of a mountain. Okay? In a blast freezer that's like -20 or whatever. And I'm like, why wouldn't they use these fresh? What are they storing? And one of my loads was blueberries. And I'm like, why would you be freezing freaking blueberries? And then this came up and I'm like, so there is a fresh frozen supply that exists in the U.S. in a deep underground maze that you could drive an 18-wheeler into and unload, and they blast freeze it. There does exist real food. That's not for us, people. That's for the rich people in their bunkers, right? So hear what I'm saying for a second. I was like confused. I was like, how come we're freezing perfectly good blueberries? These would be great for any kind of muffins, pies, whatever, and why do they need so many loads? Well, they were doing that ahead of this appeal nonsense. So I'm telling you this. If you're a business and you don't want to serve the food that you're being given and you're told that's all we have, they're keeping good food from you in blast freezers in deep underground bunkers. I don't know if you can get your head wrapped around that. I'm just speaking the truth. I know I delivered one. I didn't know why at the time, but now it's become evident. Those are not for you. Those are for somebody else. And just like they're keeping the seeds in that seed bank in that country and all that, yeah, because when they finally mess up all the seeds and they're all GMO'd up and they start having all kinds of problems, they are not worried about a extinction level event of sorts from nature. They're worried about what they're doing to everything, and when they finally get the population down where they want it to be, then I think they're going to bring the good seeds out and bring out the good blueberries. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. All right, so basically there's also, if you don't think we're going into war, I'm telling y'all people, Russia's going to nuke itself. I've already said that a while back. I saw another vision of that the other night, but I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this. They just did an attack on Crimea, and it was cluster munitions, and a lot of it hit civilians that were on the beach. Whatever, however you want to see it. Yeah, they were Russians. They're in an occupied land. It's a war zone, but there's that. And Russia still wants, and that was a couple of hundred people that got hurt. Russia is still looking for I would say retaliation for the 500 mercenaries. If you don't know about that story, look it up. So they're poking the bear. It's obvious, and Russia's already said that they're going to do drills with what they would call limited range nuclear weapons or tactical nukes or whatever you want to call them. And they've even got Neil deGrasse Tyson up there saying, "Oh, these are new nuclear weapons. These won't really put out any kind of a nuclear Holocaust situation. They won't cause radiation. They just burn clean. Yeah, clean burning nukes. They should put those in the Priuses." I'm gonna tell you, that's not true. And they're not going to use anything new anyways, because Russia's getting rid of all their old stuff by blowing it up over Ukraine anyway. And they didn't mind even their own soldiers going down to try to take Chernobyl. So why would they care about anybody else? And they're going to pick and choose, and they're going to look at where the NATO countries have sent their people, and they're going to try to hit them with it. But they're going to nuke themselves, and they're going to blame it on the U.S. or NATO. They're going to do that to be able to escalate and use their own tactical nukes. And they're going to say, well, we used them before we found out the truth about this and that. Just like with the Book missile system taken out. They took out a plane that had a bunch of Ukrainian soldiers on it that they were supposedly flying back. They took out, a couple of planes. The one that was in Iran, the one that was in Ukraine, that was a passenger plane. Seriously? So they don't care. But Russia's definitely going to start something, and it's going to be that. But in the meantime, basically a beach just got hit with a military attack, and they were all wearing bathing suits. Like all of them. So it was some really bad collateral damage. I don't know how close range it was. So that happened. So we're on the edge of World War III if we ain't already got in it. And as far as the fake food, man, just the day that I get a rubbery banana is the last one I'm going to eat. I haven't seen any of the truck stop. I don't know to trust the blueberries so much. It's kind of weird. That's really weird. And they're putting it in, man, a lot of food. Don't know what they're doing with the meat. They're trying to get rid of all the farmers. They're trying to kill off all the poultry, even though they can't even prove that it's sick. Can't even prove it can go over to people. I had a few other things I was going to show on this. I'll take a look at this X thing. If you want to make comments, go ahead. If not, that's cool too. Let's see. Oh yeah, and they just opened up a way for trials to actually happen. I'll pause this against Pfizer, and so they will be able to sue, and that will open up the door for military personnel, which have already been able to sue now. From a different lawsuit, says that they can sue, and they lost their jobs. A lot of them were called back and said, hey, you can come back. But out of all of the, man, I don't know how many, hundreds of thousands, whatever, 3 people re-enlisted. 3. That's what they said. It's like everybody else is like, no, you forced me to either get the jab or lose my job, and no thanks. That kind of thing. That happened. So I'm gonna show this real quick on this.
Well, good morning. Thank you for being here today. We brought together this press conference to make the following announcement. And that is today, Kansas is filing a civil suit against the Pfizer Corporation under the Kansas Consumer Protection Act, seeking enhanced civil monetary penalties, damages, and injunctive relief for misleading and deceptive statements made in marketing its COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer also violated previous consent judgments with the state of Kansas, in which Pfizer promised never to use deceptive information to market their products. Kansas's case is the first of a multi-state collaboration, with Kansas being the first of 5 states to file suit. Before I go further, let me put this in context. As we all know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a great deal of panic and anxiety. Many people who were elderly or who suffered from various medical conditions had already died when the vaccines became available. And when that time came, when the vaccines became available, every one of us had to make 2 decisions. Am I going to take the vaccine? And if so, which vaccine will I choose to take? And these decisions were being made in a hurry. In some ways, you could say even being made under duress. In such an environment, it is imperative that Kansans making that decision receive the truth. They needed the truth. All Americans needed the truth. And in multiple respects, Pfizer did not provide the truth.
We'll set this down and y'all listen to this.
In this lawsuit came
There's a reason
out as a result of a FOIA lawsuit seeking information from Pfizer that still had not been made public. And it was only a result of that effort that some of the information in this lawsuit is available. I urge everyone to read the 69-page complaint that goes into great detail about the specific statements that were made and the misleading nature of those statements made to Kansas consumers. The following is a quick summary of, I think, some of the 4 most egregious examples of misleading the public in Kansas. Pfizer marketed its vaccine as safe for pregnant women. However, in February of 2021, Pfizer possessed reports for 458 pregnant women who who received Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine during pregnancy. More than half of the pregnant women reported an adverse event.
More than half.
More than 10% reported a miscarriage, many within days of the vaccination. Pfizer also possessed information from its own October 2020 study on pregnancy in rats, indicating that its COVID-19 vaccine was likely linked to infertility, loss of litters, and stillborn offspring. Number 2, safety relating to heart conditions like myocarditis. Pfizer consistently denied any evidence of a connection or safety signal between its COVID-19 vaccine and myocarditis.
Myocarditis.
Indeed, on January 18th, 2023, when asked whether its vaccine caused strokes or myocarditis, Pfizer chairman and CEO Alan Berla stated, quote, "We've not seen a single signal, although we have distributed billions of doses," end quote. A signal that he is referring to as a safety signal, which refers to a negative consequence. However, as Pfizer knew, the United States government, the United States military, foreign governments, and others had found that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine caused myocarditis.
Everybody found that out.
Number 3, effectiveness.
I'll go further. There's people that are working in what's it called now, man? When somebody dies and they put their body in state and they have to actually have it embalmed and all that stuff, they work in there, that and in morgues that are doing post-mortem on a person that they're finding these crazy long blood clots that are just really weird because they have to take all the body out of the body and they have to embalm you with embalming fluid. Okay, so when they do that, they find these long blood clots that's why the person died, you know, and some of them are white and it's weird. It's not even blood. It's like some type of a plasticide or something. So anyway, I'll let him finish what he was saying.
Variants. Pfizer also claimed that its COVID-19 vaccine protected against COVID-19 variants, even though data available at the time showed Pfizer's vaccine was effective less than half the time against variants. Finally, transmission. Pfizer urged Americans to get vaccinated in order to protect their loved ones, clearly indicating a claim that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccination stopped transmission of COVID-19. Pfizer later admitted that it never even studied transmission of it after its recipients received the vaccine and whether they could say it stopped transmission. After making these misleading statements, Pfizer also engaged in some censorship attempts. Emails revealed that Pfizer officials coordinated with media platforms to censor any speech critical of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine safety and effectiveness. It should also be noted that Pfizer elected not to join the federal government's vaccine development program known as Operation Warp Speed and declined that development funding. When asked about that, Pfizer's CEO Albert Bourla said Pfizer did not participate in the program in order to, quote, liberate, end quote, Pfizer's scientists and to avoid government oversight of its vaccine development. He also said, quote, they want reports. I don't want to have any of that, end quote. Referring to they, when he said they, he was referring to the federal government. Pfizer's misleading statements contributed to success in marketing its vaccine in Kansas. By February of 2024, Pfizer had delivered over 3.3 million doses of its vaccine in the state of Kansas. This accounted for over 60% of all vaccine doses given in the state of Kansas. This suit is being filed today, and as I mentioned before, it is part of a multi-state effort in which more suits may follow depending on Pfizer's reaction.
In case y'all didn't hear that, it's a multi-state effort. Other states are going to jump in. We're not talking class action exactly. We're talking about independent states are all going to likely have their own lawsuit and be against the fact that they made consumers of each state. Watch it go across party lines. Watch it be just Republican states, and then the Democratic states won't, because they'd be suing themselves for their own stuff. So there you go. And they're all going to, I'm sure, Now, I'm sure that Fauci will get a Medal of Honor if he hadn't already. In case y'all don't know, but yeah, I ain't gonna talk about that. Whatever. It goes deeper than that. Hey, you want to know some good salsa? I'll share this with you too. This was awesome. Check this. I got this at that 205 truck stop in Alabama. Dude salsa. Okay. Man, what is it called? Dodge City, I think it is. This stuff is phenomenal. I just now opened it. That's where I'm getting my food from, people. Y'all get y'all's food from where you want to. I'm gonna move this out the way, see if there's anything else interesting, and then I'm gonna get out. I had to share that with you though, that they've come up with a tested, and they want it to be peer-reviewed thing. And
electricity 25% increase. Auto insurance up 30%.
Let's see here. Okay, that's stupid. There was something else I was looking up. Yeah, I'm having some. Okay, I see what happened now. So because I'm live, I lost all the other links. That's what's going on. All right, people. So I hope everybody's doing good. Well, let's do some chill. Have some chips and salsa for a second here, and I'm gonna cut this live stream.